It's 2006. I was living my dream life in Cairo, Egypt with my husband, Tom. I just graduated with a degree in Middle East Studies and Arabic, and I had landed a job that I was deeply passionate about. And it was incredible. I mean, I spoke the language. I have this view of the pyramids from my office, and I truly believed I was exactly where I wanted to be, doing exactly what I wanted to be doing. In fact, we were so happy there that I decided to invite my dad and stepmom to come and visit us. And one night, we're walking around just looking for a place to eat. And all of a sudden, we hear this boom behind us. And we look back, and there's what looks like a large firework fountain. And it actually takes us a moment to realize, there's not supposed to be a firework fountain there, and we're actually in danger. And so we take off running. We take 1, 2, and that's when the real bomb goes off behind us. And it's a sound louder than God. It is so sharp and intense. And at this moment, time slows down for me. And I'm hyper aware of everything that's going on. There's this heat from the blast that warms my clothes. And then I can't hear anything. If you surveyed most Americans, they would tell you that the United States is not actively engaged in war. Sure, we're actively funding wars. We have troops stationed in conflicts around the world. But your average American believes that war does not touch us here within our borders. We have lulled ourselves into the delusion that the trauma of war is someone else's problem. But war, much like trauma, does not go away if you just ignore it. This is Breaking Open by Betsy Lamberson. And I lift my head up, and I can see people screaming and talking, but I can't hear them. And I actually think oh my God, this is incredible. It's just like in the movies when they lose their hearing. And when I lift my arm, I have this tiny hole in my arm, and there's a little stream of blood coming out of it, and I just fixate on it, and I don't see Tom, and I look behind me, and I find my dad, and his leg is in really bad shape, and then he says Tom doesn't look so good, so I follow his gaze over. Lying there on the ground is my husband, and he's so injured that I don't even recognize him. Oh. And it's around this time that I start to get lightheaded, and I realize that I am sitting in a pool of my own blood. And there's no way it all came from the tiny hole in my arm. We all survived, and we went to Denver, Colorado. And along the way, we discovered that 3 bombs had gone off that night. 24 people had died, and over 80 people were injured. We were the only 4 Americans. And the thing about being injured is that there is no going back to a normal life. In fact, the term injured can mean an entire range of hardship and ruin. My stepmom had some nerve damage. My dad nearly lost his foot. Tom had it the worst of us. He nearly lost his arm, and the rest of his body was just like this mass of wounds. And I personally have these chunks in my legs where there's just flesh and muscle that are missing. We lovingly refer to it as shark bites. But through all of this, I was dealing with it in my own special little way. I was obscenely positive. I found out later that the nurses had actually made notes in my charts. Patient may not know she was in a bomb. So after 3 weeks in the hospital, I was wheeled directly to the hotel I'd be living in. And the entire world that I had known and loved was lost. And in the hotel, that positivity started to wane as the reality of our situation came crashing down on me. But then I had one thing to sort of look forward to, and that was that our second wedding anniversary was coming up. And I really wanted to make it special. Given the situation, it was just gonna be, some flowers, gifts, maybe some nice food to share with my husband in his hospital room. So I set out that afternoon, and I am gonna go get these things. And I'm on foot, cause I don't have a car, and I get to the shops, and they're closed. I think okay, well, what do I know is nearby? Whole Foods. And Whole Foods are magical, like they have everything, and it's all beautiful and perfect. And it's a ways away, so by the time I get there, I am exhausted. Oh, and I realize oh yeah, Whole Foods is just a grocery store. And the food doesn't even look good. And the flowers aren't exotic or special at all. So I grab a bouquet and I decide forget it. I'm just gonna order pizza. That'll be special enough. And I go to the gifts aisle, right? And there's yoga socks and candles. And I find this picture frame and I'm great, that'll work perfect. So I get the picture frame and the bouquet and I call a cab to take me home because I am too tired. And as I'm waiting for the cab, I notice that there's this girl that's just having this great afternoon. She's eating sushi and talking to her friend. And her life looks incredible to me. And as I'm sitting there, I hear this thump. Our anniversary was also the 4th of July. And even though it's the middle of the day, kitty corner from the Whole Foods is the Denver Country Club. And they have just launched a single firework. And I watch as this firework comes up directly over the parking lot, and it goes off. And every cell in my body is screaming at me that horrible things happen after that sound. And the girl who had been on the phone with her friend sees me crying, and she asks if I'm okay, and through the tears I said, I'm okay. I was just in a bombing and I'm freaking out right now. And she offers me a ride and I take it because I couldn't stand waiting for the cab. And when we're in the car, she's asking me questions. I'm telling her everything. I'm I lived in Egypt and my parents came to visit and they were also injured. And then she's like, oh my God. And my husband is in the hospital and he nearly lost his arm. And she's like, oh my God. And I'm I live in a hotel. And she's like, oh my God. I'm and it's my wedding anniversary. And we get to the hotel and I thank her profusely and I go inside and all of the fear and the terror and everything that I never felt the night of the bombing just floods my system. but I allow it. Because I know that I have to feel it if I want